Hi, this is Madelyn Victoria, and this is my Mr. Media interview.
The first time that singer Madelyn Victoria and her brother, guitarist Albert Vallejo, were on Mr. Media, I was struck by their talent and charm. Now that was 4 years ago, so I imagine they've only gotten better at both since then. When last we spoke, Madelyn was riding the success of her country music single, He Only Loves Me on the Dance Floor. And today she is promoting a new song that is also climbing the charts right here with you. Today, though, I'm really interested to hear about her other job. She's pursuing a degree in music business from Folsom University. As for Al, the guy who majored in eye-rolling the last time he and Madelyn were on the show, I don't know what he's up to these days, besides supporting his big sis, but I'll ask, okay? Madelyn Victoria and Albert Vallejo, welcome back to Mr. Media.
Thank you. We're so happy to be here.
One of you is. I think Albert's like, oh, I remember this guy now. Okay.
He's back.
Not a man of many words. I'm going to do the talking.
I know. Just so people know, Albert was like, "Do I have to talk?" We'll keep it to a minimum, but we will find out what you're up to, Albert. I promise.
Okay.
So, Madelyn, tell me though, Full Sail University. This is something new. The last time we spoke, I think you had tried university and decided it wasn't for you. That you really wanted to pursue music full time. What's changed, if anything, and why Full Sail?
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you brought that up. So, in high school, I was applying for many scholarships and looking at colleges, and nothing had a specific program for what I was looking for, and that's basically being a music artist and in the industry with record labels and learning and all that. So, fast forward years later, just stumbled upon this program through social media advertisement, seeing that, the little Full Sail things. And I even had friends in high school that were into graphic and into tech, media tech and all that. And that was their dream school, going to Florida and going to, Full Sail. And I think since then they've incorporated, well, I know now since I am in the online program, this really awesome online accelerated program where you earn your bachelor degree in about 3 to 3.5 years. And that's what I've been doing since I think that last interview that we had. I just, I applied, I found the program, read up about it. I wanted to learn more about record labels, A&R. They help with, internships with these record labels out in Nashville. Universal's a big one that they're involved with. And so it's been amazing. It's been amazing learning so much, honing my craft, just refining things in the industry that that I kind of had an idea about because of my experience with concerts and live shows and dealing with managers and all that. And now I'm just, like I said, refining what I know and my knowledge in it. And it's just so refreshing. And I'm super excited. And the big goal in all this is for my own record label, to start my own record label and to, do it that way here in the industry and have continued support from my family and friends, along with this, just making an official label and, releasing projects through that. So I'm super excited about it.
Well, that's great. I was really glad to, I hadn't thought too much about it the last time we spoke, and you said that, college just wasn't really working. It wasn't really where you wanted to be. And so when I saw ahead of time that you were doing Full Sail, I thought that's great. Because it's good to focus your energy and learn something, but particularly music business for someone who wants to sing and perform. And then now you're mentioning that you want to have your own label. I think that's awesome. I mean, you cannot go wrong with that kind of education. Also, you look at I don't know how you feel about Taylor Swift on any level, but as someone who started singing at 12 or 13. I don't know that she ever got formal education, but she has been very smart about taking charge of her career, the rights to her music, everything else. I mean, she's had grown men who've spent 50 years in the industry spinning in their chairs because she's just like, no, I own my rights. I do this. This is the way we're doing it. And she's changed the course of industries. And she's 23, 24 years old. So to do it and get the formal education and have that goal of being in the business, I think it's great.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. And Taylor Swift and her father and their empire is exactly what I've been kind of studying what they're doing, and with their label with Scott Borchetta at Big
Hmm.
Machine Records. That's one of them possible internships. So I'm excited. I'll be in the background of things. I'm not gonna be trying to look for a record deal with them or anything, but I'm gonna be learning from the Big Machine and other professionals, and then I'll hopefully take charge soon of my own brand.
Very nice. And Albert, this is where we ask you a question. What have you been up to since we last saw you in 2015? And I just, before I'll give you a second to think about your answer. I just want to point out to folks that Madelyn is the older sister here, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
just to put a little perspective, I don't know. I won't ask how old either of you are, but I am interested, Albert, in what you've been up to and what you're doing when you're not performing.
Yeah, so since the last time we spoke, I've actually gotten married to my high school sweetheart.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We moved up to San Antonio. We all live here in San Antonio, Texas, together. I work, when I moved up here, I have a full-time job, Monday through Friday. It's a legal service firm that I work for. And then, weekends or, after work, that's when we play. And thankfully, if there's ever a show, during the working hours that I have, I might be able to get it off. But thankfully, we have a great guitarist that's also a backup that plays with my sister as well. So we're very grateful for Sean. His name is Sean.
Sean,
He's
shout
our
out.
he's our other guitar player. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. Just doing that.
That's
Pretty
awesome.
good answer.
Yeah, that's great. And I believe when I listened to the last interview, you mentioned that you were dating someone pretty seriously. I'm guessing it's the same woman then.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Oh, congratulations. That's very nice.
Andrea.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are all in San Antonio now.
Yes, yes.
Great.
We're based out of here. Now we go back and forth, back home to the Rio Grande Valley and San Benito, back up here to San Antonio, shows back and forth. We recently had a show with Randy Rogers Band in the Rio Grande Valley. That was a sold out show, really great show. And then coming up here doing regional shows and yeah, so it's been great.
That's very cool. And it was Sean, the guitarist. Is that Sean on the Folsom Prison Blues video that I've seen?
Actually, no, those are some of our high school friends, some of my high school friends. So that was really fun. That was a fun video to do. It was the accordion player. His name is Martin, and it was the one that had the idea for this, incorporating the accordion with Folsom and kind of making it our own little cover. And yeah, that was a really fun thing. But Sean is up here in San Antonio, and we've met him since we came up here. And the funny thing is, he knew me before I knew him. He had all of my, so how do I explain this? So when I first recorded in Fort Worth, my first little round of music, friends in the studio sent Sean at the time my music to edit and kind of practice things and mess around with it. Then I come up here to San Antonio and he introduces himself like, oh, I'm a big fan. I have your music. And, and I'm like, okay, great. So this is perfect. You already know my music. Let's start playing. And it's been awesome ever since. We play every Sunday together, and we're actually starting to record my first full-length album with Sean. So
cool.
we'll be in his backyard and just recording. And yeah, it's exciting.
Nice.
Exciting.
Wait, so Albert, when you first hear that Sean says to your sister, "I have all your music already," and they hadn't met her, and that, were you thinking, "Stalker, got to keep an eye on this guy"?
Well, I wasn't there when they met, but when she told me afterwards, I thought it was pretty interesting. I didn't think stalker right away, but.
Well, I think we established last time that sometimes in the bars and clubs you have to kind of keep an eye out for your sister.
Yeah.
So I'm giving you credit for still keeping an eye out for your sister.
Definitely.
So let me ask you about the Folsom Prison Blues cut, and I wish we could have asked you to play it, but for copyright reasons I can't. But it was really interesting. First of all, it's extremely well done. People should go and search for it. And I know that Country Music Nation did a little thing where they wrote about you and that song and a cover you did of a George Strait song. But what was really interesting to me about the Folsom Prison Blues cover was, how can I say this? I mean, it's a blues number. Everybody knows it, Johnny Cash song. But two things were very interesting. One is that the accordion gives it a real Zydeco taste, which is interesting. It would have been nice to see. It would have been real curious to get Johnny Cash's response to that aspect of it. But the other thing is, it's the song about being in prison, and it's when you sing it, it's like a fun kind of entertaining. It's always entertaining, but it's a fun kind of song. I was trying to explain it to my wife this afternoon as we were driving back here from the store, and I said, if you didn't know that it was about prison, you would just think, wow, this is just kind of a fun poppy song. But then you think, wait a minute, this is Johnny Cash singing about prison blues, So
It
anyway,
makes prison sound fun. I
it
don't know.
does exactly.
What I say.
So we're going to encourage people to go find that on YouTube. But can you talk a little bit about how that version of it came about? What.
Sure, yeah, definitely. We've always covered that live. I was in high school in what we call a conjunto band, like Tejano music with the accordion incorporated, and actually it goes back to even like the German music roots, and then it incorporated into Texas from Mexico, and now we call it Tejano music. And so I used to play that in high school with the young man that's on accordion, Martin. At the end, I hate that at the end though, our friend Trey was kind of not in the picture, and he's
The
there
drums,
doing like a
yeah.
little yeah, with the sticks on our in the backyard. But anyway, so that was Trey too, and he was also in the band, and so we had always wanted to play that as a cover live with accordion, and so Martin was the one that suggested that we make the video, and it's gonna be. He's like, I know everyone's gonna love it. Like, let's do it because we've already know it really well. And Johnny Cash happens to be, one of my favorite, singer-songwriters, and it was a great way to, it just represents who I love and my style, kind of with that, and real funny. I know we always get weird comments on YouTube, like always, like there's always all kinds of really nice, encouraging ones as well. But a lot of people like to correct me when I say shot a man in Texas just to watch him die instead of Reno. And in my opinion, I think, well, this was Johnny Cash was covering this song to begin with, and he changed the lyrics and words. So in my way, I'm covering something as well, and just kind of like, spicing it up a little bit with the Texas, because that's where we're at. And there's prisons in Texas too. Yeah. I mean, go figure. But no, I mean, it was a really fun thing, and it was just something that we knew was going to be a really big hit on YouTube, and still to this day, this was years ago, and people are still sharing it and loving it, and I really do. I appreciate that so much. Everyone just.
And it's funny because I thought you looked a little younger in the video, but then I thought, since I hadn't seen it before, and it's the funny thing about people will discover your interview from 2015 with me now, and they'll think, wow, she looks so different than she did in this interview. And it's things are not, everything is not recorded on the same. I'll give you a great example of this. So a couple weeks ago, Daryl Dragon, who is the captain from Captain and Tennille, before your time, I guess, but so he passed, and I had interviewed his ex-wife, Toni Tennille, from Captain and Tennille, and so the video got massive amount of play in the last 4 weeks, but there were people, and people are so funny, there were people who would watch it and then post on there, how dare she talk badly about her husband? He just died. And I'm like, every time there was like 3 or 4 people who posted that on there, and I had to go in and say, I'm very sorry that this upset you, but this was recorded in 2014 or 2016, whenever that was. He was alive then. And then just yesterday, somebody else posted to someone's concerns about this. They said, he was alive when they did the interview. It's okay. Not everything was recorded yesterday.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
It's confusing.
Same thing. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Same people think that Gilligan is still out on that island. I don't know.
Oh man, I love people.
I mean, right? Because stuff you have stuff online. People post and they say whatever comes to their mind. They don't think about it that much. Has there been any thought, Madelyn, in the last 3 or 4 years about not continuing to pursue music? Did you ever, was there ever a dip in your enthusiasm for it, or for your marketability with it?
Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily something that we're like, oh, I'm not going to do this anymore. Of course, I get discouraged sometimes. I try to stay as positive as I can. There was, I don't remember exactly what year it was, but it was just a year of just plateau, I would call it, where it was just my career was just kind of like just there, not really going up, down, whatever. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating, but that's the whole lesson in itself. You know, there's always a lesson in something, and that's how I take it.
Mhm.
I have never really, I mean, it's just what's the next step? That's always my thing. Or like what's after, this, and it's never ever in my mind have I ever thought about quitting. That's far from it. People have come and go in my life where, well, what's your backup plan? Or, what's and I'm like, backup plan? What's that?
Good.
This is my one life, and I'm going to pursue it. And I'm just thankful and blessed to have a family who supports me continuously. And when I am feeling down, and when I am in that state, my family is there to bring me back up. And so I can't steer away from it. I can't steer away from it ever. It's just we're all in this together. And going into Full Sail now and continuing and seeing it, it feels like, oh man, I want it to happen right now. Like what big success. But years even before I was talking to you, I was saying college is not for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But look at me now. This, I'm looking now, and this opportunity huge, and I'm still. It's not that I always thought going to college would like put a stop and halt to my career, but it's actually opening the door now, and so that's why I personally trust God's plan, trust the timing, because it takes time, and I'm just so happy where I'm at right now. Though at times I'll still feel like, why isn't it happening? Come on, let's do this, whatever, let's make it big. But it's a beautiful ride, and it's never quitting is never in my mind.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm very glad to hear that. All right. So the plan is you guys are gonna do two songs. I neglected to ask you which song you wanted to do first. So you tell me what do you have?
Okay, we can do Right Here With You first. I think that would be a cool. People are somewhat familiar with it, and we're promoting it, and it's getting up there on a few charts, and I'm super excited about it. I wrote this song. I did, right? Did we? Yeah. I was like, did we write this one? No, the next one we wrote, but this one I wrote. I literally. It's funny how this was like a 3:00 in the morning, going to bed, just laying there. The lyrics just started flowing, and then even without a guitar, I'm already thinking of the melody. The next morning, I just put it all together, and it was done. And it was very rare when that happens. It does happen, but it's not as much as when we sit down and we're trying to put ideas together. This was just like an automatic thing, and it's started with me thinking like, the ideal relationship of the fantasy of love and what it can be, and how beautiful it can be. But also being very simple at the same time. And I know that a lot of my friends and my fans can relate to it, and just, being right there with the person you love is the best thing. It kind of reminds me of Newlyweds too. And I don't know if you've seen the music video yet, but
no.
we have the music video out, and it kind of represents, what we're doing. So did you want us to start?
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Okay, great. Some people leave home, some never do. Some always feel alone and think the ocean is blue. But I'm alright, right here with you. Some people dream big, some want to. Some only light a cig, and others light a fuse. I'm alright, right here with you. I'm right here with you, right next to me. Can't you see it's only two memories and little money? I'm more than alright, right here with you. We can all lose touch with the people we love, but you gotta have faith, it won't happen to us. We are more than what the world makes us. I'm right here with you, right next to me. Can't you see it's only two memories and little money? I'm more than alright, right here with you. I love you, and I'll believe in your words to be true. I'm right here with you, right next to me. Can't you see it's only two memories and little money? I'm more than alright. I'm more than alright. I'm more than alright. Right here. I'm leaving this home on the road with you. This life that we chose is better than I knew. And I'm alright right here with you.
All right, very nice. That's beautiful.
Thank you, thank you.
Now that has a completely different attitude to it than "He Only Loves Me on the Dance Floor." So I'm thinking that maybe you've had some romance in your life of late to have written that song. Is that possible without being too nosy?
How should I say this? In front of my brother. No, just kidding. No, I'm dating somebody right now.
Oh,
so
good.
Yeah, I am.
I'm very glad to hear that.
Maybe the song was written before that.
It was written before. It's funny. I feel like I have a premonition in my songs. I always write what's gonna happen in my life. I don't know, a future thing that I'm thinking of. It's funny because I wrote "He Only Loves Me on the Dance Floor" before I had the heartbreak, and then the heartbreak happened, and then now it's cool. I actually can relate to my own song now.
Oh, good. That's good. That's interesting. Let me think about that one for a minute. No, that's good. I'm really glad. I'm really glad to hear that because I think when last we spoke, there wasn't a lot going on in that department, and it's kind of like, it's too bad.
Like, yeah, but it's fun. It's nice. He's a great guy.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, I'll be paying far more attention to future songs, so we know what's going to happen next in your life.
Oh no! I don't want to play this next one. No, I'm just kidding. Kidding.
All right. We'll allow we'll talk about something else for a few minutes, and then we'll go back to the other song.
Sounds good.
And we won't read. We promise none of us will read anything into it, right, Albert?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Madelyn, you wrote that song, and then the two of you wrote the next song. Are you guys still, despite Albert being married now, full-time job, are you guys still finding time to write together and do new music?
It is a lot harder to find the time. I even have my part-time job going on, and I get tired. With that, school's going on. I feel like it's been a while since we've actually written a solid song. But going into the studio right now, we have so much material already that we're really refining those songs that we've written in the past, and there are a couple on there that we actually have to finish before in 2 weeks. There are 2 songs that we want to finish, specifically because they mean a lot to us. So we have to knuckle down and get those down. Just a couple of lines that we need to throw in there, and just see if we want a bridge or whatnot in some of them. But yeah, it's a lot harder. But this is a reminder. I'm glad you asked. We need to start writing more because it is harder. But we all work together and we all understand and we try our best. So.
Well, and along that line, do you find that your lives have changed in these 4 years? Albert's married. You've found someone. You've got someone in your life now. I'm sure that both of those circumstances change your outlook on things, right? So
Yes.
Are you finding that life is richer now for subject matter, or will you next time the two of you sit down to start writing fresh?
Honestly, personally, I feel like it's always I'm a very passionate person, and I can I don't know. I've heard Bob Dylan is kind of like this, where you just kind of imagine these things. You haven't really been through it. You haven't really been through the actual experience, but we can put our shoes in that experience, and I can write the fantasy and this and that and what's and whatnot. So I feel, and I do, I mean, it's a balance. I write what I've been through with my family, stories that I hear, and then sometimes I can go off and just make up my own story and have an idea of that. So I feel like it's the same for me. I feel like I've been just as passionate as I always have been, and influenced a lot. Hearing new bands that are coming out and their music, and the older influences, like I mentioned, Johnny Cash. I'm always trying to keep that a balance there, but it's pretty much the same for me. I don't know about you, Albert. I mean, Andrea's been in his life since high school, so.
Yeah, just a little bit more serious now that we're married, but I mean, not really. Just the only thing that, having the full-time job and being married now, maybe I miss out on a little bit of shows. Just sometimes if it's, during, like I said, during my working hours, or if it's on a weekday where you finish playing at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning, and then I won't be able to do that type of thing. But that's why, I mentioned our guitar player, Sean. But yeah, sometimes I do, wish I was playing, instead, or not instead, but wish I had that, that particular gig.
Extra time.
That extra time for that. But it makes me appreciate it even more, when I do play, because there was a while there where it was just continuous and playing. I was like, man, my fingers are tired, like I'm tired. But it made me appreciate it even more at that point.
Okay, very good. Well, all right. So for the second song, did we do a good job of bridging a little and changing a little?
Yes.
For the second song, you're going to do "Don't Blame It on Me." Now, that one it sounded to me like something my wife wrote. So help me out here.
Yeah, I love that. We can have, even with all my songs, everyone has their own perspective and how they relate. And hey, if that's the way you want to relate, then I love it. We wrote this, I don't know, a couple years back too. I had an idea. The idea was there. I had some verses done, but Albert came in and really put it together with a chorus, and we had the idea. It's just, and the style and the style of the song. I want it to be very a Western. And if you know who Cody Jinks is, his style is an influence with this song. If anyone knows, and it's just a song about another heartbreak, but we like to incorporate it with different. We incorporate nature in the song a little bit, and once you hear the lyrics, I think you'll understand. So,
Okay.
What I mean. All right. This old guitar still ringing, this heart of mine still singing. Where are you now? Are you lost in a crowd? You can't find your way out. By Friday I'll be playing, come Sunday I'll be praying. Wonder about you, is it true? Oh, you got me so blue. You can blame it on the night, blame it on the sad times, blame it on the goodbyes. Don't you blame it on me. Blame it on the sun, blame it on where you run. As far as your eye can see, don't you blame it on me. I hear Johnny in the morning, he gets me through my morning. Songs of the past coming at you fast. Oh, will it all last? This road sure is lonely, reminding me of you only. Where am I now? Am I lost in a crowd? I can't find my way out. You can blame it on the night, blame it on the sad times, blame it on the goodbyes. Don't you blame it on me. Oh, blame it on the sun, blame it on where you run. As far as your eye can see, don't you blame it on me. Blame it on the sad times. Blame it on the goodbye. Don't you blame it on me. Why don't you blame it on the sun? Blame it on where you run. As far as here I can see. Don't you blame it on me. No, don't you blame it on me. No, don't blame it on me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. You know, I had a thought during that song. You guys, I'm sure you know what a call and response song is, right?
Okay, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So, have you thought about doing that? If you did that live, you could when you're saying you can blame it on X, you could pop the mic in front of different people. Like you could do it. You could do it members of the band at first to show the audience how to do it, and then everybody would
Yeah.
say something different.
I
Right?
love it.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yes, that is great. I appreciate that. That's gonna be great for our, our live shows.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just listening to it, and I thought everybody would have a different word that they would pop in there. Like
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of people would be like booze.
I love it. That's gonna be our new project there going on with the
Babe.
song, and we want to release it as a single, so that could be a whole even Facebook Live thing. Send in your comments and and whatnot. That's really cool. That's really cool. What do you blame it on?
Yeah, right. Yeah, what do you blame it on? Exactly.
It's kind of it's the way perspective. It's the person knows it is them.
Right.
It is their fault, but they're in denial, and you can blame it on anything.
Well, and you know how these songs tend to have a life of their own. It actually could be the kind of thing where it starts making people. I hate to say it because it's kind of a sad song, but it might be the kind of thing where people start finding it amusing because if you get different people start saying different things.
Yeah, I love it. It could have a split personality.
Yeah. So it might be a completely different song live than it is recorded. Anyway, that's your business. It's just something that struck me while I was listening to it. So just a couple more things here before we wrap it up. Madelyn, you had mentioned the last time we spoke that I think you had also had an interest in acting. Now it sounds like you've been very busy. But has anything come up in that regard? Are you still looking for those opportunities?
I love this. I love where I was then and now. And so I definitely still have an interest in acting. And I have been doing some regional gigs around here in San Antonio, moving up here to San Antonio where the industry is a lot more available for acting than in the Rio Grande Valley. So I'm with Entourage Agency right now. They're based out in San Antonio, Austin, and LA. That's the bigger, I don't think I'd ever move out there, but there was a big market out there as well if I was there for participating in auditions. And I did have a really sad experience recently. I missed a really big audition, and but it's never going to happen again. It's never going to or maybe someone else deserved that spotlight. It was a big gig here for I say big gig, but it's a Texas grocery store, and it's called HEB. Sure. And so they were looking for some actors for that, and the directors specifically asked for me, and it just didn't work out, and I was like, oh no, but I will get it. It's the first time that I missed out on one, so but next time. But yeah, I'm so happy I'm able to do what I love all around, and it's very a small scale right now, but it's growing.
Cool. Well, we'll keep putting the word out.
Thanks.
Yeah. Now, Albert, I have one last question for you, and I promise I will not pester you with anything else. But listening back on that previous interview, it occurred to me, and now I've had something to compare it to. I think your sister has slowed down a little bit. She seemed, when I listened to that, I was amazed that either you or I could follow a word she was saying because everything was so rapid fire. You go back and listen, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Oh wow, yeah. I don't think I realized that before, but
where I talk very fast.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe you're a little bit more relaxed now with just life in general, probably.
I think so. I feel that's funny. Yeah, life in general, and I'm reading more. I'm articulate. No, just.
No, you're quite articulate.
Before our eyes.
It was funny though to listen to it. I went, wow, am I hearing? Is that just? And then no, you were fast. You were really fast.
Wow. Well, I'm mean, I've always felt like I loved doing interviews, and ever since I was a lot younger, I was in, these pageants, and I loved the question on stage. And maybe that the difference is I figured out how to differentiate different interviews and whatnot, because, question on stage, and that's the pressure and quick, and you got to think quick and come up with the answers, and that was my forte, and I loved it. And now I feel, okay, I've gotten used to this kind of conversation. Yeah, so.
Maybe not as nervous.
Yeah, that too.
Could be.
And and I know you now. I feel like I know you.
I know we've only come into each other's homes twice now, but I feel very comfortable with you guys. I loved seeing you. I'm looking forward to having you back the next time to hear how the careers have further progressed.
We hope to be back when the album's out. So
that would be great.
Big release.
The door is always open here to you.
Thank you.
You should know that. And folks, you can find Madelyn Victoria's music in great online stores, I guess, everywhere. Or you can order right now and download right now at a great price at MrMedia.com. Just go to MrMedia.com. You'll see cover art. Click on it. It'll take you to Amazon. You can download music and songs and all that kind of stuff. I'm guessing that your website, which I think is MadelynVictoria.com, when you have gigs, they are there. People can find you that way.
Yes, definitely. So it's changed a little bit. It's Madelyn with the hyphen in the middle. So Madelyn-Victoria.com. And yes, all my shows are up there all around Texas. We're starting to book a lot more shows this year, and we're hoping to, spread out into other states soon. But Texas for now, focusing on the album. And once the album is released, then, of course, radio tour after that. And the radio tour actually will consist of the surrounding states in Texas. That's what I could do as an artist right now. I'm so sorry if you hear a little dog barking in the background, but Jelly wants to make an appearance. But anyway, so yeah, I would love to connect with everyone. Madelyn-Victoria.com. You can Google my name. That's what I recently shared, and my website comes up. The social media, music links, everything comes up. So I'm excited to connect with everyone.
Good. And leave poor Albert alone, folks. He's had enough abuse today.
You have to go through me, and then
Exactly. Well, Madelyn Victoria and Albert Vallejo, great to see the two of you. Happy for so many good things happening in your lives, and thank you again for joining us on Mr. Media today.
Thank you,
for having
so
us.
much. Thank you. We had a fun time. Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Turn your back on the deceiver. It's a bad idea to believe her. A bad idea to believe her. Turn up the stereo receiver. Turn up the stereo receiver.